We would think over the long term, if this is the trajectory of kind of greater uncertainty around the world, that things like gold and things like Bitcoin should continue to go up.
The most massive bull run in Bitcoin history has just begun, and over the next 8 minutes, I will prove this to you.
We've seen it in the flows. We've seen it in how investors are positioning. We've seen significant inflows into gold ETFs. We've seen significant inflows into Bitcoin.
Stay tuned or risk missing out. Can you afford to not watch these next 8 minutes?
Look, I guess it does feel very different. It does feel very different in that crypto is becoming much more widely accepted.
Think about it like this. Bitcoin is now back above 95,000, and it turns out smart money has been buying the whole time, and they're continuing to buy. As soon as Bitcoin reclaims $100,000, I think altcoins will pop. And I do realize that to retail, like you and me, it doesn't feel great to buy Bitcoin here. Just like it didn't feel great when Bitcoin was hovering around 33,000, kept touching 33,000 a bunch of times, or when Bitcoin couldn't get past 64,000 a bunch of times. Because there's always something, right? There's so much US and global uncertainty this year.
You said that you have spoken to President Xi. When did that happen? China says it hasn't happened.
I spoke to him numerous times. So we're leading and going to Rome.
How can I be so confident? Well, I follow the crypto market every day. Every day I report back to you. I'm a believer in this whole industry. The bigger question is, why is BlackRock so confident? Why is BlackRock so bullish? I love this clip. They say as uncertainty around the globe increases, Bitcoin's price should continue increasing too. In fact, now that smart money has bought at the lows, they're now all updating their bullish predictions. ARK Invest updated their 2030 Bitcoin price prediction for very similar reasons to BlackRock. Stay tuned, we'll go over this. First, take 90 seconds, watch this, fully understand why BlackRock is becoming increasingly more bullish on Bitcoin and crypto as uncertainty increases and all this other stuff. You'll see. If you agree with this clip, send it to a friend. They'll be impressed that BlackRock is saying this. If you disagree with this clip, let me know in the comments. Tell me why.
Do you think crypto is now about to decouple from U.S. tech stocks? Many are talking about sell U.S. assets kind of behavior in the global markets. Do you think this is the moment?
Well, crypto over the long run is decoupled from U.S. tech stocks. I think what you have to look at is, are you looking on a short-term basis or are you looking over a longer-term basis? You know, over a short-term basis, you can see all types of different assets have rising correlations to each other. And in fact, if you look at the last few weeks under more market uncertainty, you've seen everything from stocks and bonds to crypto trading with higher correlations. But if you zoom out, you tend to see the kind of longer-term fundamental thesis of something like Bitcoin really drive it to behave differently than traditional assets. You know, the long-term correlation between U.S. stocks and Bitcoin is more like 0.2 or 0.3. It's a lowly correlated asset. And it's because what drives stocks, which tends to be things like higher growth, higher certainty, lower geopolitical risk, many of those things actually are kind of opposite drivers for Bitcoin. Bitcoin thrives when you have more uncertainty and are looking for something that's going to behave differently. So fundamentally, this should behave like an uncorrelated asset. And I think as we continue to see more time play out in this uncertain environment, you will see a dispersion between these assets.
Yeah, so Jay, what we're talking about here is crypto or Bitcoin as alpha, right? Uncorrelated assets and also returns. So directionally, tell me, right, if this tariff situation globally, right, doesn't resolve itself, drags on, or fingers crossed, gets worse, right? We can probably expect stocks to take a further leg down, bonds to go down to $2 as well, and for crypto and Bitcoin to continue going up. Would that be fair?
We would think over the long term, if this is the trajectory of kind of greater uncertainty around the world, that things like gold and things like Bitcoin should continue to go up. It is this type of uncertainty where people are looking for alternatives, parts of their portfolio that are going to behave separately from stocks and bonds. We've seen it in the flows. We've seen it in how investors are positioning. We've seen significant inflows into gold ETFs. We've seen significant inflows into Bitcoin. And this is all because people are looking for those assets that will behave differently.
So ARK Invest has now updated their 2030 Bitcoin price predictions. Their bear case, $500,000. Their base case, this is what they think is most likely, $1.2 million. Their bull case, $2.4 million. Where does this demand come from? Institutional investment, digital gold, emerging market safe haven, national state treasury, corporate treasury, Bitcoin on-chain financial services. I mean, think about how different it is for Bitcoin and crypto today versus its first 15 years. We went from the worst US crypto regulator of all time, L's in the chat for Gary Gensler, to what seems like what will be one of the best US regulators for crypto of all time. New SEC Chair Paul Atkins says he's eager to tackle issues facing Bitcoin and move the cryptocurrency industry in the US forward.
I am eager to tackle long-festering issues such as the regulatory treatment of digital assets and distributed ledger technologies, and working with my fellow commissioners and the staff in doing it, and soliciting outside input as well, obviously. So this is important work as entrepreneurs across the United States are harnessing blockchain technology to modernize aspects of the financial system. I expect huge benefits from this market innovation in terms of efficiency, cost reduction, transparency, and risk mitigation. Market participants engaging with this technology deserve clear regulatory rules of the road. Innovation, unfortunately, has been stifled for the last several years due to market and regulatory uncertainty that, unfortunately, the SEC has fostered. So I look forward to engaging with market participants and working with colleagues in President Trump's administration and Congress to establish a rational, fit-for-purpose framework for crypto.
Even crazier, this is so bullish. The Federal Reserve is now putting out statements on crypto saying, hey, it's all good. If you're a bank, feel free to custody crypto. Feel free to provide crypto services to your clients. This is a really big change. I can't believe more people aren't talking about the implications of this.
Banking regulators pulling back some U.S. cryptocurrency guidance. This is interesting, guys, because the Fed said it was withdrawing supervisory letters that said that banks should seek advance approval from authorities before engaging in crypto asset and stablecoin activities. In addition, the Fed, the FDIC, and the Office of the Controllers of the Currency pulled back statements from 2023 that urged banks to be careful when it comes to crypto-related risks. During the 2024 campaign for the White House, President Trump promised crypto investors that he would have their backs if he was reelected. In a statement announcing the latest changes, the Fed said that regulators would look into whether new guidance to support crypto asset innovation was appropriate. But it means effectively that I think a lot of those letters had scared the banking system sort of out of getting meaningfully involved in crypto. And now they're saying, do what you like.
Here's the question. I mean, because it's the Fed doing that, it's not like an executive order where it's going to get whipsawed if another administration comes in 4 years. I guess maybe it's better because it's coming from the Fed.
I don't know if this means that all of a sudden you're going to go to your local, Chase on the corner and be taking Bitcoin. But you can't take Bitcoin.
Look, I guess it does feel very different. It does feel very different in that crypto is becoming much more widely accepted, and maybe if they can get more regulation that kind of cements that, maybe it would make the banks feel a little better about it.
It's never been more important to subscribe to Altcoin Daily and get serious about your cryptocurrency investing journey. Start here. We give you the knowledge, we give you information, we give you opinion. Watch our videos every day and stay up to date with everything crypto. Because as you know, if you've been subscribed for any length of time, there's been so much great news and fundamental shifts happening that are extremely positive for Bitcoin and crypto. I think as more time passes in the short term, over the next few weeks, over the next couple months, more and more people are going to wake up and realize that Bitcoin and crypto right now, and for the next few weeks probably, right now these prices are extremely undervalued in my opinion. I think this is spot on. Tell me if you agree with this outlook.
I think Bitcoin should be at 0.2 M or 200K. And the CIO of Bitwise also said the same thing. Like, we're way undervalued from where we should be right now. And of course, that's just my gut feeling, and that's probably his gut feeling too. But it doesn't feel right. And usually what happens, I think, when things are kind of disconnected is that there's a fast reconciliation. Like, it's got to reconcile. All of this bullish news, and we're kind of stagnant and not even hundreds range. It's just wrong. And it should adjust and right itself, which means 10K candles, maybe 100K candle, and that'll put us in the right.